There are content. Thank you so much, Consweet people, sending you thanks all the way from up here. All right, that's that. A reminder that Woodbine is always open for filking, except for when we forget to open the doors. But that won't happen tomorrow, promise. Okay, mask policy. As you see, I'm masked. Most of the people in here are masked unless they're eating. If you are eating, you're fine. If you are singing, you're fine. Otherwise, we want to be masked in all of our shared spaces for the prevention of both COVID spread and the Concrud spread. We don't want that. We talked about the Corsi Rosenthal boxes. People seem cool with that. Convention announcements. We are announcing conventions differently this year. We're not doing a lightning round. If you want your convention announced, you need to get a convention announcement form at registration, and we will, Aaron, me, our wonderful folkwaves, will do the announcement for you in one of the announcement slots. Obviously, that's going to have to be tomorrow at this point. But please do that because we do still want to announce our conventions, right? There's also a sign-up board, and we think that's a really great idea because then a person that's interested in all of them can take a picture and know about all of them in one photo. Got it. Crystal, question. Mara, which cake did Shirley bake? The one that's gone. Oh, you guys make me laugh so much. I love it. So, I can't remember the dates off the top of my head, but a reminder that next year's con is on here, and we have Sean McGoffey as the waif. He wasn't here when we announced this last time. Let's give Sean a hand. Woo! And we have Rhiannon's Lark, Alyssa Yeager. And Beth Kinderman and the player characters. All right. So I don't think I missed anything. Let's get this Phil Hall of Fame ceremony started. Let's pass it off to Dave. Woo! Let me get my stuff out of your way. Yep. I think that was over here. Yep.
Kathleen, I need you up here soon. Anyhow, if anybody doesn't know me, I'm Dave Heyman. I'm the founder and the administrator of the Phil Hall of Fame. This year is the 30th anniversary of the first time we did the induction ceremony. It was actually done on April 1st, 1995. It's the 30th ceremony, okay. And it was actually done on...
If I could interrupt you for one moment, I want to put a fresh battery in that mic so it doesn't go dead in the middle. One, two, three.
Thank you. Anyhow, I'll continue. The first induction ceremony was April 1st, actually, 1995. And I always said, because I had no idea what was going to happen with this, that it could always be an April Fool's joke. And it wasn't. The other thing, anybody that's been to one of these, and of course, some of the last few have been online, virtually, and I do not enjoy speaking in front of people, so I bring other people up to help. I'm going to start with something saying that back then in the CONCOM was Judith and myself, Heather, and Howard. We were the CONCOM for FilKOntario. That was it back in 1995. And as the history, if you haven't seen the history of the Filk Hall of Fame, it's on the FilKOntario website. Click on Filk Hall of Fame, and there's a history about how the whole thing started. It actually took 18 months for my first thought about it. I was coming home from an OVFF and said, we got to do something. And with that, I'm doing something a little bit different. We have somebody attending this con who in 2023 was inducted virtually, and I've changed my mind how I'm going to do this, and we're actually going to read her citation. So Kathleen, can you come up, please? After, in between. And as Kathleen reminded me, after this one's done, before we start the new ones, I'll have anybody in here who is already a member of the Hall of Fame to please stand up once Kathleen's done. And it's been accepted.
Yeah, the chance I'm going to get through this without crying is, I thought it was 1%, it's now 0. You know me. No, I have a big old handkerchief, thank you. But the Kleenex is at the front of the stage, should it be needed. Catherine Kat Faber. Kat has attended SF cons from the early 1980s. She joined the Filk scene with a burst of musical inspiration, winning a Pegasus for Acts of Creation in 1995. In 1997, she joined her performing partner, Arlene Callie Hills, to join the Filk duo Echo's Children, appearing at several conventions and releasing the celebrated album Under the Gripping Beast at OVFF, where Kat was an Interfilk guest. 3 additional CDs followed, As Good as Any, A Dancing World, and From the Hazel Tree. The duo retired when Kat moved across the country, but Kat has continued to the present day as a solo performer, releasing 2 solo CDs and winning several prizes in Filk songwriting contests. Her honors include 2 additional Pegasus Awards for themed categories, 3 for Best Writer-Composer, and 1 for Best Filk Song for Word of God. Her songs and passion are amazing in their delivery. Kat is a gamer, a writer, a crafter. Her Pegasus-winning Maker's Anthem, Acts of Creation, celebrates those pursuits. Kat appreciates science and what it can tell us about the universe. Her best song, Pegasus winner, The Word of God, affirms the truth of cosmology, geology, and evolution. She has even written mesmerizing horror and war songs, even though Kat is the mildest, friendliest, least horrific person imaginable. She uses the Spanish themes of her songs to shed light on issues of the day, such as victimization of women and empowerment of people with physical challenges. Kat has the gift in the ability to take a very difficult and confusing topic and make it less confusing and setting it to song. One recent example is that she wrote a song to explain the recent Hugo ballot issue, E Pluribus Hugo, and make it a little bit more understandable to everyone. Her voice is her main instrument, but she also accompanies herself on guitar or mandolin. Ever the eager learner, she challenged herself to learn violin, an ongoing effort. Her 2 solo CDs are The King's Lute and Dr. Faber's Medicine Show. Over the years, Kat has shared with Filkers the many projects of significance that she's undertaken in song or in commentary. This has included everything from building canoes to registering voters, and from learning instruments to volunteering at a health clinic for the poor. She is always willing to share her knowledge and experience, musical and otherwise, with others. Kat is, in many ways, the embodiment of the ideal toward which many of us in the community aspire, not only in her talents and disposition, but for the tremendously constructive uses to which she puts those things. Kat has encouraged others to cover her songs. She maintains the Echoes Children website, which is www.echoeschildren.org. It contains lyrics and sheet music. This is a boon to any who wish to perform or sing her songs. By writing her songs and making them accessible to everyone, even with a modest ability to make music, Kat has become a gardener of the FilK community. She has brought us new faces, like Laura in Oxford. Through her qualities and efforts, she has made the good better and the better great. For these contributions to FilK music and the FilK community, Kat Faber was inducted into the FilK Hall of Fame on the 26th day of March, 2022.
I think that's 23. But we'll have to check. We'll have to double check it. Yeah, it should be 23. I'll take that. I need to be there. Pat? I actually think it was a 20. It was 23, not 22, if I remember right. It was last year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there's your that, and here's your.
Okay, it was another typo, 2023.
Yes, that's what I am.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to say anything or not? You don't have to if you want.
I would like to, if that's okay. I would like to thank you all because a person is nominated because many people suggest them and say things that they did. And this is an honor that I have hoped to aspire to someday since I first heard about it in about 1994. It's an event of a lifetime for me. Thank you all so much. And thank you to Dave and Judith who have put so many years into curating and maintaining and running this. So thanks.
And as I was reminded by my friend over here, Kathleen, before she goes to do the next induction, anybody, any Hall of Fame inductee that is in the room, would you please stand up? And again, their citations are on the website, and also there's a big binder back in front of, well, beside where I'm sitting to do Interfilk that has every single induction. It goes in there, and there's also a yearly plaque where for that year the names of the inductees are on it, and we're also, so that's there also. Okay, now for this year, I would like to ask Kathleen to come forward, please. Whoops, that's not the one. Right. Oh, I gave it.
Give me the correct one. Yeah.
You have the correct.
Oh, it'd be very confusing.
Yeah, you have the correct.
Yeah, I'll probably cry now. Almost certainly. One thing I will say without crying is this inductee is being read first because they are not present. So what I would ask is, I've asked our resident photography specialist, Lauren Oxford, is going to video you all. So what I want you to do when I read the inductee's name is please respond as though they were here, because I would like to send them a video of your response. So, thank you. Well, as soon as I say the name, I guess start now. Shannon McGuire. Thank you. Shauna McGuire has been writing since childhood. She has released more than 50 urban fantasy and science fiction books, plus many pieces of short fiction and nonfiction. Her writing is wildly popular. Because of this, many fan and readers find her music as well. She chooses to highlight FilK on her popular website, including information music, FAQs. The fans who read her websites often show up at her concerts, and some are then absorbed into FilK. Shannon has demonstrated time after time her gift for both songwriting and performance. She has received 7 Pegasus Awards for her songwriting, including Best Writer-Composer, 1 as Best Performer, plus numerous additional nominations for songwriting and performing. In 2003, Shannon, along with 2 other Filkers, founded the group Lady Mondegreen. She was lead singer much of the time, with other singers offering delicious harmonies. There are 6 albums released by Shannon in collaboration with other Filk musicians. One of them, Wicked Girls, was nominated for a Hugo, a first for a time of a Filk item any kind has been nominated. Shannon ran many Filk tracks at California conventions, including BayCon, which she later chaired, and was the driving force behind programming at Consonance for more than a decade. She was also a regular supporter of Concord. She continues to be a booster for fellow Filkers and regularly points people at the community and speaks of it fondly. Interfilk sent Shannon to Counterpoint in the DC area in 2007. She's returned the favor most generously by routinely donating items like advanced reader copies of her upcoming books. Another favorite is Tuckerizations, one of which raised several $1,000s. Shannon herself has been a member of the Filk community since her early teenage years. She has often spoken about this. In a podcast interview from Wired Geek's Guide to the Galaxy, she said, "I love the Filk community. It is the single most welcoming part of fandom." Almost made it. For these contributions to Filk music and the Filk community, Shannon McGuire is inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame this 20th day of April, 2024. Stay standing.
Go ahead with your, go ahead with your sentence. Keep clapping. And Shannon has sent something to Kathleen to read. When I first phoned Shannon, that's the one thing, I don't get to vote for the hall in the Hall of Fame. I get to phone the people. And she'd really hoped to come, but you know, she has such a busy schedule, etc. But we knew that she would probably send us something, and she has. And tomorrow there will be the concert, and there'll be some of Shannon's songs, plus the other 2 people tonight. And I've actually asked Kat to do so. So tomorrow there'll be a concert of 20 songs, 4 people, 5 songs each.
And unrelated to the acceptance speech and giving me time to collect myself, I just want to make sure, I know a lot of people here have been in music classes. Y'all know what this means at the end of a song, right? Okay, that's important for tomorrow. You'll remember that, come on. So Shannon sent me her acceptance speech, which, again, getting through this without crying is not going to happen. I told her that when I read it. Thank you so very much. This is an incredible honor, and I'm not being modest saying when I say that it was genuinely one that I had given up on hoping to someday receive. Thank you for all your consideration, your time, and your friendship over the years. I am the person I have grown up to be because of the FilK community. When I was falling, you caught me. When I was lost, you found me. You offered me a hand and a home and a place where no matter how strange I was never the strangest thing going. I could say thank you 1,000 times, and it wouldn't be enough to do anything but get on everyone's nerves. I wish I could be here with you tonight. I'm so sorry I'm not. Thank you for being my family.
Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, I would like to, once I get the stuff out that I need to get out, I would like to next call up Judith. Who
Okay. Oh, I put my glasses on, but I can't see anything. Oh, I'll talk about that tomorrow. So, Kathleen, having told you that the person she just read the induction for, or the citation for, is not here, the inductee, the other two inductees are present. Eric and Jen Distad. Eric and Jen Distad, who perform as the faithful sidekicks, are fine musicians with a vast repertoire of original songs. They have recorded 5 albums, including Achievement Unlocked and Star Star and Other Star Things. That it upset my spell checker tremendously. They have been nominated for Pegasus Award 8 times and won twice with Best Mad Science Song for I Built a Time Machine in 2021 and Best Performer the same year. Interfilk sent the duo to Gefilk in 2018. They have been guests at numerous other cons since then. Their style is energetic, usually funny, and totally engaging. Eric, pushed by Jen, along with 3 other musician friends, co-founded FOM, February Album Writing Month, in 2004. The challenge was, and is, to write 14 songs in 28 days. Initially a project for the 4 of them, it opened to the public in 2005. Jen served as website administrator, eventually succumbing to become a FOM songwriter in 2006. The intent of FOM was to encourage and challenge songwriters to write in a safe space with a friendly community able to comment and encourage. All 4 achieved the goal. In 2014, Eric and Jen organized a meetup of FOMers. 2 filkers familiar to them attended but left to perform at a con. Some of the other FOMers, including Eric, went to Confluence to hear Copy Red Leader. After the concert, Eric met with some more filkers and stayed for the open filking. He and Jen were soon assimilated. It worked the other way too. Musicians found filk. One posted this paraphrased comment: "Over the past year, I have come to know a number of area filkers through February Album Writing Month and NaNoWriMo. Our family even went to the city for our first house filk this fall, and we were very warmly welcomed. Through these online communities and our one house filk, I feel I have come to know several people in the filk community, and I'm excited to get to know them better. But this weekend will be our first encounter with a FilkCon. FOM has given us new filkers. For these contributions to filk music and the filk community, Eric and Jen Distad are inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame. this 20th day of April 2024.
There's always a danger when somebody hands me a microphone. Thank you all so very much. We've just been floored and gobsmacked that y'all would think to nominate us for this. It very unexpected on our part because we know there's so many of you that deserve this. When we,
You're doing fine.
okay.
Keep on going.
So in 2004, when our friend Burr came to our house and pitched this idea of writing 14 songs during February, and Eric said, no way am I ever doing that. That's impossible. I couldn't possibly. I take a year to write a song because I have to craft it just so, every word chosen just perfectly. And I said, no, you're doing it. And he said, no, I'm not. And that argument continued for a little while.
He was right, as usual.
We still had no clue what we were really starting. It was just going to be that one February just to get the wheels moving so that Eric could actually ignore his internal, I'm blanking on the word, inner critic, the brain weasels, to actually finish writing these songs that he kept starting and then going, oh, but this isn't good enough. And then the next year, people had been online, like reaching out to Burr, who was maintaining the blog, saying, hey, I want in on this too. And by 2006, it was huge, comparatively huge. And that's when I signed on because I wanted to be encouraging the people who were writing these songs and posting them. And from there, it grew into a community. And that was so valuable. People who were stepping up and helping each other and coming together and supporting each other. And then from there, we were introduced to all of you and the community that you've built here that we could be a part of and included in has been so valuable and so important to us. So thank you so much for welcoming us into the Phil community. And I'm just so thrilled that the crossover has been happening over all these years.
I'm going to echo a little bit of what Jen said. When we started FALM, it was kind of a dare, but the very first song that I posted had a random drive-by comment from someone that was not kind. And I wanted to quit. And Jen and Burr encouraged me. And we went from there and we finished FALM and it changed my life. And it has been my pride to see lives change in the course of writing and making and doing. And then when we found Filk and we found this community that is just welcoming and open to voices of all kinds, shapes, skills, talents, whatever, anything that you have to bring to the community is valuable. It's amazing. My happiest point is when seeing someone for the first time come to a Filk circle and sing a song, maybe a little scared, maybe a little nervous, but they're there and they're putting their bravery behind them and getting out there and singing the song that they need to sing. That is amazing. It is a thing that I live for. And it is this community that fosters and makes that, and it energizes us, and it has welcomed us in so many ways. It has cherished us in so many ways. It has helped us in so many ways, and we just want to give back as much as we can because y'all are just awesome. You have become our family, and you are kind of strange. Thank you all.
Okay, let me get a couple things here, and then I'll call it the next. Okay, I'd like to call up next Randy Hoffman. Uh, while Randy comes up, a couple years ago, I decided we needed some new blood for the jury, and I started looking in the community, and there are two people in this room right now who always supported the Filk Hall of Fame, gave me nominations and stuff like that, and then have done other things. One is Lem, who went on to do Festivals of a Living Room. It's for the online people. And Randy, through Confluence, has brought in a lot of new people to our community. So it was easy for me to add them as new jury members. And right now I would like to have him do the next one. There's a couple of errors we found, even though I sent it out and the recipients missed a couple of minor things, so they will get the corrected copies at a later date. They'll get the copy they were supposed to tonight, anyhow.
So this particular tie around my head, no, it's not supposed to be a tail. It's reminiscent of Inspector Clouseau in the final scene of The Pink Panther Strikes Again, when he gets the tie stuck around his head and can't remove it. And as Inspector Clouseau might have said, I know you're wondering why I've called you here tonight. It is so that a certain kind of secret may be revealed. It is the super secret kind. Rand Bellavia and Adam English. Put simply, Rand and Adam changed the sound of Filk. At a time when almost all Filk was based on folk music styles, their songwriting and performing, both under their own names and as their band Ookla the Mock, named for a TV cartoon character, they introduced and popularized more contemporary influences. Their music opens up multiple styles to songwriters and other music enjoyers. Enabling the diversity of our community to change and grow and welcome in new generations of Filkers and creators of Filk-adjacent music. They are wonderful representatives of the multiplicity and adaptability of Filk music styles. As a band, Ookla has been in Filk since the early 1990s. The band, since making their Filk debut as a duo at Contradiction in Niagara Falls in 1993, have appeared at conventions throughout the world, including at least once at most of the existing Filk cons. They jointly earned a Pegasus Award for Best Performer in 1997 and won again in 98, 99, 2004, 2006. Rand and Adam have produced a lot of funny, insightful, and just plain great music. They have many Pegasus nominations for songwriting. They have awards for Arthur Curry and Tiberius Rising, and 2 more for Best Writer-Composer in 1997, Best Performer 98. As a duo with Ookla and with Via Bella, Rand's duo with Aaron, and as solo artists, they've written and recorded 14 and counting albums and EPs. Their songs have been aired worldwide on the radio and internet, including on the Dr. Demento show. Their music has been used in a handful of independent films. They wrote the theme and score for the indie movie Bite Me Fanboy. Adam's solo album, Sketched Out, drawn from his experiences as a caricaturist, has been an inspiration to the popular art and caricature communities. One of their pieces was bought by the Walt Disney Company for the theme of the animated series Fillmore from 2002 to 2004. They introduced comics and media fans to Filk by playing at the Pittsburgh Comic Con for 6 years running and by playing at Wizard World and Dragon Con. They were the house band for the ErieCon convention in Niagara Falls and performed the main concert there annually for many years. They have been guests at too many cons to mention. They were Interfilk guests at GeFilk in 2009, where they contributed items to the Interfilk auction and good-naturedly helped to wench them. Rand and Adam often collaborate with other artists in the Filk community and do their best to share their time and know-how with the community. They've contributed arrangements, backing tracks, and vocals to songs and albums by many Filkers who have returned the favor. Their songs have been covered by many others as well. Rand and Adam are not only top-notch songwriters, performers, and innovators, they have also demonstrated since their earliest involvement an abiding interest in Filk as a whole, and have continually done their best not to just entertain us, but to nurture Filk as a genre, community, and movement. They're also two of the nicest, kindest, coolest people we know. For these contributions to Filk music and the Filk community, Rand Bellavia and Adam English are inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame this 20th day of April, 2024.
Thank you. Here's your formal citation. Oh, that's not yours. I got it. Yeah, there's yours there. Thank you. There's luck. This one is. And you also get they'll call it the pins. Which are these. Oh.
Thank you so much, Dave.
And now, whoever wants. Yeah. There it is.
As you've come to expect from us, we'll be alternating as we go. First of all, we'll start by saying in harmony, thank you. Adam and I met in 1988. We were in different bands, didn't really want to step on each other, but eventually we realized we could be in a band together. And in 1992, we wrote 16 songs together and showed them to a couple of friends, including Randy Hoffman, who informed us that what we were writing was Filk. And I was living in Dayton, Ohio at the time, so he took me to Marcon in Columbus, sat me down in a Filk circle and said, play Viewmaster. And I did. It was a huge circle with, I found out later, a lot of, really incredible players, and it was super exciting. Couldn't wait to get home and call Adam and say, Adam, we have to stop playing at bars. We have to start going to Filk. We were just so excited about this. And I was like, and I played it up so much. And so as fate would have it, the next time I was in Buffalo, Contradiction was happening that weekend. So we went to Contradiction. And also as fate would have it, they changed where the Filk was happening. And we didn't know that. So we ended up sitting in a very small room, trading songs with John Caspell for about an hour. It was just the three of us. And so Adam's experience of his first Filk was not like mine, shall we say.
We decided to give it one more try, and after that we went to Astronomicon in Rochester, and we had a really enthusiastic response. It was there that we met Urban Tapestry, and they told us about you guys, about FKO and so forth, and we showed up here, and what year was that we played our first year?
1994.
94, and with our drummer Luis Garcia, and with way more volume than Filk wanted. But we sold out of our first handmade run of Poor Man's Copyright at that con, and You don't have to draw Ookla map.
Yeah, so, okay, give me a second. I love that Filk is predicated on the notion that anyone working on any craft for a period of time will create something of value. It's one of the things I love the most about Filk, that we all are going to, and we welcome that. We ask for that. To foster this, we make the deal that Filk makes with people is that if you bring us a song, we will listen to it. That seems pretty obvious, except let me assure you that every other musical subculture, and let me also, they are subcultures. We are a community, okay? That's one difference, okay? But other subcultures, the deal they make is that they will pay attention to you after you've earned it, okay? Filk says, no, you don't have to earn it. You have the courage to perform your song. We're going to give you that attention as if what you were going to perform is the greatest thing ever written. And guess what? Getting that energy from someone makes you feel like it is the greatest thing ever written. And that's the only way the greatest thing ever written is ever going to be written. Okay? Okay? So it's this circle, okay, where the attention fosters the creation, and the creation brings more attention, and it just keeps going, and it's remarkable. And now Adam's going to tell you a story about why that's remarkable for us.
You have to understand that when we discovered Filk, before that, we had been playing at bars in Buffalo, trying to make it as like a rock band. And I remember once we were playing at Broadway Joe's in Buffalo at an open mic. And after we had gotten done playing, we were standing off the stage, and some guy from across the room, it was a fairly crowded room, and some guy put up his finger in the he wanted my attention gesture and walked forward through the crowd. And so I craned my neck to hear what he had to say. And when he got close enough that we could hear him, he said, "You suck." So when we first came to Filk and we discovered that people would actually lean forward in their chairs and try to hear you, that if you dropped a lyric in the second verse, after you were done playing, they would say to you, "What was that lyric supposed to be in the second verse?" And you had to tell them because they were that interested in what you were having to do.
Those of you that have heard the Ran and Adam tape or Poor Man's Copyright, which was written and recorded before we knew about Filk, you'll know in that, certainly in those songs, they're nerdy. We reference comic books. We reference Star Trek. What Filk, and in particular FilKOntario, gave us the courage to do is write songs about Star Trek, where the subject of the song is songs like Tiberius Rising and Arthur Curry and Number One. They were written very shortly after our appearance at FilKOntario in 1994. Okay, in a very real sense, those songs would not exist if it wasn't for this convention and if it wasn't for you people in this community.
So for that and for this, we thank you. Without you guys, none of this would have ever happened. So in a way, it's like everyone in this room has won this award. But they really only gave us 2 of them, so we're going to take it home. Thank you very much. Here you go, Dave. Thanks again.
I usually close off with a few things, but before I do, once Judith's done there, before I do, I want to bring Randy up. Randy's got something new he would like to do for us with my blessing for the Filk Hall of Fame, but he's going to require help from some other people. So once Randy's done, I'll wrap up tonight.
Thank you, Dave. Many members of our community have been nominated for the Filk Hall of Fame, and many more haven't been nominated, although they probably should be. But relatively few people have historically gotten in. In 3 of the past 9 years, only 2 people were inducted. As time goes by, increasing numbers of deserving Filkers die before they can be honored with induction to the Hall. One way to deal with that would be to induct more people annually, and I believe the committee is talking about that. However, FKO has a long tradition. New Hall of Fame inductees have their citations read, they have a chance to give acceptance speeches, they participate in the Hall of Fame concert. The time constraints of this weekend limit the number of people who can be inducted in any given year. In addition, plaques are given to all inductees, and those aren't cheap. I am proposing to the FilKOntario committee that a special induction be held for entities who are less likely to have a lot of nominations, less likely to win the annual jury vote, and less likely to be able to attend these on-site ceremonies. I'm talking about significant Filkers who have died or gaffeated or are in poor health, and significant Filk bands that have broken up, likely because their members have died or gaffeated or are in poor health. Especially, I would like to see a fair number of individuals and bands honored in this special induction, perhaps 10. I would like for this induction to be held between now and FKO 2025, with the nominees to be voted on by a special jury of longtime members of this community with broad experience and long memories. I would like the inductions to be announced and honored during an online Filk event. I haven't spoken to Lem about this, but perhaps it could be an extension of... Okay. Perhaps it could be an extension to one of the festival's living rooms. I guess so. The readings of the citations, acceptances, and song performances would all happen at this online event. A third party has offered to cover the cost of 10 plaques. Money could be raised to pay for more. So what am I asking? I'm asking the FKO committee to approve the exploration of this proposal. If they greenlight it, I might be asking those of you who feel qualified to volunteer to be on that special jury. Lastly, I ask you all, if there is a person or band that has meant a great deal to you but is no longer active in the community for whatever reason, please get a Filk Hall of Fame nomination in for them, because those are what the special jury will be looking at, just like the regular jury would. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, Randy approached me about this idea, and I have put it forward a little bit at the idea to the FilKOntario Concom. And I will admit that somebody came forward to me 10 years ago with the same idea, and I said, go with it. Pick some people, come up with how you want to do it. I'll support it. And nothing happened. Knowing Randy, and I think all of you know Randy enough, if he has come up with this idea, he wants to go through with it. So for as far as I'm concerned, being the founder of the Hall of Fame, I'm giving him support. You know, or we are giving him support. Yes, you know, I'm going to want to, you know, I'm going to want to find out how he's doing it, etc. And it definitely has to be a jury.
The Hall of Fame committee, in terms of how things are run, is now us. With the dissolution of the old FilKOntario Concom, we're kind of out here waving in the wind. I only wanted to say that because it sounds like we have this official body, like a whole group of people. The juries are a different story because they represent the conventions. Yeah, we want to see this done. We wanted to see it done 10 years ago when it was first proposed. And I suspect Kathleen might have something to say about that.
No, she doesn't. And she doesn't. Anyhow, this will not continue until I get nominations. I have somewhere every nomination I've ever received way back when we first started this. Like I said, it got discussed on the way home from OVFF, Judith and I. In 1993, it took us 18 months till the April of 1995 and talking to a lot of people. I didn't want to step on OBFF with their Pegasus, so I made sure I talked to Ben Siegling, who at the time was their con chair, and he took it to his committee because it's nothing to do with what they do. The only thing I always said is it has to be a jury. It's not, let's just let everybody vote for somebody. So that's why it is, but I need those nominations. You can send it to me directly to David G. Heyman at rogers.com, or there's actually a form on the FilKOntario website that if you fill it out, it automatically comes to me. I'll let you know when I've received it. And yes, I'll be collecting. Randy has already seen the file. He knows people he's talking about since he's a jury member. He knows already who he thinks should be. But we need more information. It's funny, I get nominations and people say, well, I hardly know anything. Well, a few people have been inducted because all of a sudden somebody adds something new, and it could be 2 lines. But when the jury sees that 2 lines with everything else that's in that file, that's enough for them to say, oh, that's the last information I needed before I picked that person. I'll tell you, the file is, if it's printed 10 points, 44 pages long. Okay, that's how big this file is. So anyhow, I'll end with that, and Kathleen now wants to take over and talk about the Interfilk auction, which is also going to include a pile of stuff for FKO.
I know a lot of you have been coming to FKO for many, many years. From the first time I saw Dave do public speaking and whenever it was, I think he's gotten a lot more comfortable with it, despite what he said, that he's not comfortable with it. We need, because the auction follows directly, we need to organize the stuff and bring it up because we didn't want to do it during the ceremony. So we will reconvene at 20 after for the auction. So come on back. I don't know. But go back to the back and we'll hand you things. And trust me, we have none of our traditional auctioneers are attending this year. We have a special guest auctioneer, and you do not want to miss this. Trust me. So 20 after, please reconvene, and we will start the auction.